Hi guys, welcome to the fourth video in the React series. In this particular video, we will explore how to actually write our own components. Before we get into it, I just want to give you a little background of how we used to initially create components before React version 16.8.0. As of this video, we are going to be following any version which is 16.8.0 or higher than this. Alright, so before this version, what used to happen is we used to have two types of components. One is a stateful component, another one is a stateless component. What do we mean by this stateful component? Basically, for your application to be meaningful, right? For any application to be meaningful, there will be some data in the application, right? So you'll have some data and you will, based on the data, you will render some UI. And let's say the data will change with time. So when data changes, you will render a different UI, right? So whenever you're associating your component, if your component is holding any data, we say that it is a stateful component. And before 16.8.0, only a class component can hold state. A functional component cannot hold a state. So we have these two components. One is class component, another one is functional component. A functional component cannot hold state. So we used to use functional component only for rendering UI. That is, without any logic, simply render some UI based on any data that it gets. And the data will be coming from a class component. So we had these two types of components. But after React version 16.8.0, something known as hooks were released, and these hooks can actually be used to store data even in a functional component. So first, let's see what is the syntax for creating both types of components. So the class components are nothing but ES6 classes itself. So you can say class and then the name of your component, and it has to extend the react.component. So this is the component in the React library. So that means we are saying that we are actually creating a React component, which is a class component. And your class component must have a render method. And inside of that render method, you will basically have a return statement to return whatever JSX that you want, right? So basically, just remember this, it has to extend the react.component, it must have a render method, and then you can return any JSX that you like. In case of a functional component, there is nothing like render method or anything. A functional component, just like a normal function, accepts any arguments and it returns JSX similar to how a class component returns JSX. Now coming to what we should use we use a functional component or a class component? Well, before React version 16.8.0, we would have to use a class component if we want to store state, right? But it's not a compulsion after this particular version. So that means your entire application can literally just be full of functional components. You don't need class components at all. Now, why would we choose functional component over class components? The thing here is this. When your code is transpiled by Babel, then you will see that there are a lot of differences in your functional component code and class component code. Class component code will actually resolve to very complex code. And also there are a lot of major performance boost in case of functional components. That's why it's advised to use functional components. In our entire tutorial in this series, we are going to be using only functional components. And since we are using version which is higher than 16.8.0, we can store state in a functional component itself, so we won't need class components at all. And also, if you see right here, the code is much cleaner in case of your functional component as compared to your class components. Now, let's go ahead and create our first functional component. So we'll go to our src folder, and here I'm going to create a component. So I'm going to name it display name, which is simply just going to display our name, and it should have an extension of JavaScript. So let's go here. The syntax for a functional component is just very similar to creating a normal function. So you say function, and let's say we want to name it display name. It can optionally take parameter which is any props that you get. We'll look at props later. And what should it do? It should return some JSX. So let me say I'm going to return h1 tag, right, and say hi Simran. So this is all it does for now. And now for app.js to actually use it, we need to export it from here. So I'm going to say export default display name. So let me say display name and let me hit save. And now we should actually import it in our app.js so that we can use it. So I'm going to say import display name from our display name file, right? And now in order to use this component, all you have to do is use it like any other tag, right? Any other JSX tag. So just like display name, and then you can close it here. This is all you have to do in order to create your first functional component, and this is how you call it, and this is how you basically define it, right? Right now we can't see anything, I think because I placed it at the wrong place. We are going to place it inside of header because header is actually taking the entire screen. So let's see, and yes, now we can see, hi Simran, the message is being displayed. So now one thing to note here is this, we have basically done a default export. What is this default export? That means there is only one thing that we are exporting from this file, which can be anything. For in our case it is display name, and in case of app.js, since we know that there is one thing which is exported from display name, we can name it anything. So let me just name it some component. So let me say some comp, and if I say some comp, right, it's still going to work. Let me hit save and let's check, and yes, it's still working, right? That means there is no restriction on using the same name. This is what a default export is, but we can also do a named export. So now let's do a named export. We can basically remove this from here and simply say that we want to export this. So you're exporting it by the name display name. So this is what we mean by named export. So here we can't say some function, instead we will have to give the exact name in flower brackets. So I'm going to say display name, and here again we need to use display name itself, and now let's check. Now it's working, and in this entire tutorial we will try to use a named export always, so that we are not confused with the name, and it also gives you suggestions. So if you check, if I say D, it's going to tell me that I want to import display name because it's a named export, right? So you can get suggestions also. So one more thing to note here is this is actually a regular function. Instead of using a regular function, you can also use an arrow function. So in order to use an arrow function, let's say I'm going to use the const keyword, and then let's say we want to give the name as display age, right? And then we can say equal to, and it can take optional arguments. So again I'm going to say props, and then we need to use the arrow syntax, which is this, and in here in the flower brackets we can include any code that we like. So I can say return, and this time let me say that my age is 23, and let's hit save on this. Just like how we exported our regular function, we can also export our arrow function. Now let's go here to our app.js, and it should basically give us suggestions. So I'm going to try, and it says display age. The way we call this is also similar to how we do it in regular function, and let me hit save, and now let's check. And yes, it says hi Simran, my age is 23, right? Now which one to use, whether we want to use a regular function or an arrow function? There are certain differences in both in terms of how this keyword works and the syntax. So I would suggest you to watch a video on how arrow function works and how it is different from regular function. In this particular tutorial, we will be doing a mix of both. That's it for this video. In the next video, we are going to explore how to pass props and what is this props here and how to actually use it. Don't forget to hit the like button, and also you can subscribe for the upcoming React videos. Thank you.